Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now in this video I'm going to talk about alternative careers to investment banking. So the purpose of making this video is because I know a lot of people, a lot of students, graduates, they see investment bank as the be all and end all, especially people coming from finance and economics background. And I want to tell you, investment banking is great, but there are other careers, and I think people should know about these other careers, especially sometimes these careers could be better suited for other people. Sometimes these careers can actually lead you to they're also amazing careers as well, and I just wanted to put a light on other amazing careers just as amazing as investment banking. And also I don't want people to feel stuck just because they didn't get into investment banking to feel like, oh, what do I do now? There are other roles out there. And I'm going to go through these other roles with you. So first thing I'm going to talk about basically is investment banking. I'm just going to talk about the main aspects of it that I feel like is intriguing to people. So what is investment banking? What does an investment banking analyst do? So investment banking is a type of banking that organizes complex financial transactions. This could be IPOs, initial public offerings. This could be mergers and acquisitions. Investment banking institutions help companies raise money, and they can do this in a variety of ways, such as issuing new securitizations for companies. Investment banks also provide advice on mergers and acquisitions, buying, when it comes to the process of buying out a new company. Like if a company wants to buy another company, they have analysts. The investment banking team will do the due diligence, research on the organization, look at their asset, their liabilities, and understand whether this company is actually worth buying. So these are the kind of things that go on in investment banking. So now I'm going to talk about what does an investment banking analyst do in the investment banking team. So activities that you can expect an investment banking analyst to do is build financial models on Excel, so cash flow forecasting models, financial model that will tell you information about how much income a company can potentially generate from buying another company out. So they will take this, involves like understanding the different financial statements and performing different financial ratios in this Excel model. These models are quite complex, quite big, so you need to be comfortable with numbers. You need to be good at using Excel, and this is a skill you definitely develop. Not everyone who goes into investment banking, like graduates, know Excel really well. Some of them would have done it at internships, which is good, so they have a head start. Some people may not have done internships. It's quite hard to get into investment banking without doing an internship, because usually this is given to these positions are actually offered to those who had already done an internship. They also perform market research, due diligence on company, assist in the preparation of presentation materials. So this could be PowerPoint slides, and what goes into PowerPoint slides, well, graphs and charts and diagrams explaining processes. So these are the things they work on. Also pitches as well. You have to be good at summarizing things, so explaining graphs. But usually analysts will not be the ones like explaining all these things. They will be more in the background. That is in a nutshell what investment banking is. Now I'm going to go into the other roles that are quite similar to investment banking, or I feel like are roles that require the same skills that are looked for in investment banking analysts. So let's get into it. So the first role I'm going to talk about is Treasury. So Treasury analyst, and this is a good one for me to talk about because that's currently the team I work in. I work within Treasury, and a Treasury team is actually in any type of organization. I personally work within financial services. So what does a Treasury analyst do? So the core purpose of the Treasury team is to optimize cash flow in order to meet business objectives. For example, we have all this cash coming in, but how best should we use this cash? Is it better to spend all that cash at once? Is it better to split it over time? How do you want to spend this cash? Do you want to put 30% into this, 70% into this? This is the kind of questions that are answered by Treasury. So the main things exercised by Treasury is cash management, risk management, and corporate finance. So like I explained before, cash management is about operational efficiency and planned expenditures. So the way I see this is basically you're making sure that you're receiving money at the best time and also spending it at the best time. Within Treasury, like when it comes to the world of borrowing, sometimes when you're borrowing from banks, when institutions borrow from banks, they can commit to a certain amount, and obviously there's a cost associated with borrowing that money. So within the Treasury team, we look at the cost and benefits of these actions. And also Treasury is very forward looking, so within the Treasury team we kind of look at the future a lot. So what unplanned expenditures could we have in the future, and if these unplanned expenditures or anomalies occur, do we have the power to cover ourselves for all of these unplanned things that could happen? And if the answer is no, then we need to be able to talk to other members of the team, or even other members from different teams, to understand how can we actually put this together, how can we create a plan whereby we're covered in the future. So the Treasury team is there, they're the risk management team, they're the ones that understand the cash management. So cash comes in, how best can we allocate that cash? So if you like to understand how money works, how borrowing works, Treasury is definitely for you. So how is Treasury different from investment banking? I feel like they definitely are similar. You still do financial modeling in Treasury as well as you would in investment banking. Treasury is more so mid office, it's not as client facing. If you want a role whereby you're still gaining the skills within investment banking, but you don't really like a client facing role that much, but you want to be involved in like more of the forward-looking stuff, then Treasury is for you. So what kind of activities can you be doing within Treasury? So like I mentioned, financial modeling, cash reconciliations, always reconciling cash, understanding, okay, if 10 million has come out from this part of the business, then it must mean 10 million must have gone in here, to ensure that actually the cash we're reporting is accurate and there are no variances, and if there are variances, understanding where they are and why they're there. A lot of the time Treasury prepare a lot of analytics as well, so this is kind of like a lot of analysis to understand the performance of the business, and doing financial ratios, again similar to investment banking as well. So the next role I'm going to talk about is capital markets analyst. I've done something similar to this. One of my roles previously, I've worked within they're like a cross between Treasury and capital markets. So capital market is a marketplace whereby those who have capital meet those who need the capital. So those who have capital are banks and other financial institutions who are willing to lend, and then obviously those who seek that capital, which could be any type of corporation essentially. So what does the capital market analyst do? So a capital market analyst, you tend to see them work in like within banking, within financial services. So for example, you can see a capital market analyst working, let's say for example, a mortgage lender company, so a company that lends out money in terms of mortgages. Within the capital markets team, capital market analyst will be involved in like due diligence. So for example, if that company mortgage lender wants to borrow money from another organization, then the capital markets analyst will be there helping with the due diligence of that project. Or if that mortgage lender wants to issue out a new deal, they will be involved in the behind the scenes, the financial modeling, gathering the data, speaking to credit rating agencies, speaking to the funders who are actually helping giving money to that institution. So that's what the capital market analyst will be very much involved in. So also capital market analyst will be looking at analyzing trends, looking at market trends, looking at doing competitor analysis. Okay, so what other companies, like the competitors, what are they doing, how are their deals going, the deals that they have, how is it going, and put like a competitor deal analysis together. And that kind of competitor deal analysis helps inform the business on the possible performance if they were to issue out a new deal. How would that new deal perform, that competitor analysis helps them understand that. Again, capital market analysts will also prepare presentations. Capital markets team is all about managing debt. It's all about debt and getting debt at the best price that benefits the company. And when it comes to getting debt, you have to speak to obviously financial institutions. So when you're speaking to financial institutions or when you're presenting deals, you need to usually these are presented in PowerPoint slides, and the capital markets analyst helps with this. Capital markets analysts will also maintain documentation as well. They read legal documents of financial transaction, making sure that the company understands the deal that they've also obviously made, making sure that it's the best deal. Reading financial documents, legal documents, is going to be part and parcel of the job. So I believe capital market analyst is even more related to investment banking than the Treasury analyst role. I've got to mention that in this role, you also do financial modeling, cash flow forecasting, because obviously you want to see if this financial deal is going to generate cash, and what's the best price for this deal. And when I say price, I'm using it generally. So obviously you get a deal, part of that deal the company has to pay some sort of fee. So a financial model is built around this, so to understand whether this financial transaction is the best deal for the company. So the capital markets analyst is definitely involved in that. They also build pricing models as well. So you can see how all these roles are very similar, slightly different. Capital markets and treasury analyst is similar, but the treasury analysts, they're more so in more of the detail of cash management, issuing notices out to make sure you get funds in on time, looking at the cash in the bank. Do we have enough money in the bank? And so that's what treasury more so is. Capital markets is again more front office roles, because when I did work in a similar role to that, I would sit in meetings where these deals were being made. Capital markets analyst is more front office, more forward facing. So that role, capital markets analyst role, I feel like is the only role I believe is the closest to investment banking. We have here is financial planning and analyst. So a financial planning analyst is similar to like accounting, but it's more of the why. So accounting, obviously an accountant will prepare management accounts, will prepare statutory accounts, general month-end reporting of, okay, these are the accounts, this is what happened, this is how much money has gone out, this is how much we've paid, this is how much we've generated from our different businesses, this is it. Whereas the financial planning analyst will come in and okay, this is it, okay, why have we generated that much? Okay, based on what's happened, what do we think will happen? Financial planning analyst is more business partnering, so they're more so involved in like speaking to the other teams, explaining what's been happening financially and what does this mean for the future of the company. They will analyze the data such that they will know, okay, this is where cost needs to be cut, or this is what we need to do to increase our profits. How do we do that? That's where they speak to other teams to ensure everyone comes together to make this work. So a financial planning analyst will do performance analysis, like I've just mentioned, scenario analysis. So scenario analysis, okay, if we're put in this scenario, if we're able to bring on this new business, what would the accounts look like? So that's what a financial planning analyst would do. So as in the name, as you suggest, financial planning. So it's more so a plan, understand, okay, it's forward looking. Give me a 5-year plan on how the business profits will look like if this happens. So it's so forward looking, scenario testing, stress testing. So it's more forward looking. So for example, if the company has business objectives, a financial planning analyst will be able to tell the CEO or the director, manager, senior member, okay, if we're able to do XYZ, then our profits will be able to increase by this amount. So that's the kind of language you expect within the financial planning team. So even though you do financial planning, you can still, within financial planning, you can still obviously do accounting activities like prepare management accounts. They then go a step further, but okay, we've prepared this management account, but then they challenge it. they explain why has this happened, why has cash gone down by this much, why has it gone up by this much, what does this mean, but the rate at which has gone down, what could affect it, apart from maybe is it internal factors, is it external factors, what's the ratio between the two, is it more so internal factors, what do we expect to see the following month. These are the things that financial planning analysts will be asked. Whether the company is maximizing the use or optimizing the use of their assets and investments. So that's a financial planning analyst. The financial planning analyst is a bit similar to the treasury analyst, I believe, because they're both forward-looking, looking at cash management activities, trying to understand why something has happened. But the difference is that treasury analyst is specific to treasury, whereas a financial planning analyst is more so not only treasury but covers a large variety, like covers like management accounts, whereas within treasury we don't look at management accounts, we don't really look at financial reporting, we just look at numbers that affects the treasury side of things. So, and obviously management accounts will probably feed into that depending on the company you work for, depending on the nature of the role, but that's the fundamental difference between the treasury analyst and financial planning analyst role. So in terms of investment banking, financial planning analyst is not so, I wouldn't say it's that similar to investment banking. Again, they share key skills like you need to be good with numbers, you need to you build financial planners would build financial models similar with investment banking, but the type of models they'll be building will be different. Obviously in investment banking you're going to be building models for mergers and acquisitions, whereas within financial planning, depending on the kind of industry you're working in, you're going to be building financial models in relation to what that business does. You see a lot of financial planning analysts within or in all the industries, even retail, healthcare industry, energy industry. That's the main difference between both roles. So the next role I'm going to talk about is commercial analyst. Commercial analyst, again, quite similar to financial planning analysts. So they evaluate the company's revenue, their costs, analyze it, try to understand what's driving revenue, what's driving cost. They speak to, they're very, like, again, it's a front facing role, so they speak to all different members of the team. So they're not focused as a commercial analyst, you're not just focused on the financial side, you're focused on understanding what does the business do and in general, what are the business objectives, how does the different teams affect the overall business. So it's not so much financial planning analyst where it's just the finance part. Commercial analysts also understand the products of the company and everything in general. So a commercial analyst will also find ways to improve the standing of the company, to improve revenue, to maybe seek more business, whereas a financial planning analyst wouldn't do this. They're more so looking at the financial and seeing, okay, this is what's causing profits to go up, this is where you could cut costs. Whereas a commercial analyst does that, but they go a step further by understanding the market we work in, understanding how can the company be more competitive, how can the company find a competitive advantage. A commercial analyst will use mathematical tools and economic research to conduct analysis for the business, on behalf of the business, and will use their findings to suggest and implement policy changes. Again, this is not something that is done by financial planning analysts or treasury analysts. This is definitely unique to commercial analysts. Commercial analyst does budgeting, which a financial planning analyst does as well. Financial modeling, financial analysis, finance forecasting, and just seeking opportunities on behalf of the company. It's possible you can have a commercial analyst that is working within merger and acquisitions deal. So that's why you tend to see people who've worked as accountants, as financial analysts, they can then transfer into investment banking, because maybe the role they were in, they were working on deals that you tend to see within investment banking, such as mergers and acquisitions, hence why their skills, they have good transferable skills into that industry. So guys, that is it. In conclusion, all these roles are amazing. They all link. Someone who's an accountant can eventually become a financial planning analyst. a financial planning analyst can become a commercial analyst. A financial planning analyst can also go into Treasury. So it's very possible. I've seen Treasury analysts go into investment banking, that I've seen. So even if you're not even able to get into investment banking straight out of university, don't be heartbroken. You can still get into investment banking after years of experience in roles that are quite similar. So I know someone who worked as a Treasury analyst within healthcare, then moved worked in as a Treasury analyst, I think in the energy industry. Then she was able to work as a Treasury analyst within an investment bank, and then now for like a year, I think she did that for like a year, and then now she actually works as an investment banking analyst. So in conclusion, these roles, they all interlink. Depending on the company or industry you work in, you can definitely switch between these roles very, very easily. And also these roles, a lot of these roles pay really, really well, especially like capital markets analyst. You tend to find them within investment banking. So even if you're a capital market analyst in just a general financial services firm that's not investment banking, you can also definitely move to investment banking. These roles have really good career opportunities, amazing career opportunities where you can grow and go to, head to like a really high level head of a department and director. So these roles are really good, and the salary is really high as well. May not be the starting salary. The only thing is that I believe is that investment banking has a really, really high starting salary, especially for graduates, whereas all these other roles like financial planning analyst roles, commercial analyst roles, like a graduate or more entry level, they're not as high. But if you're smart, when you start to gain some experience, 1 to 2 years of experience, let's say you work as a commercial analyst, 1 to 2 years of experience, and you gain the right skills, you can definitely leverage yourself. Don't think there's a cap on salary. There isn't. It's all about how you present yourself in interviews and knowing your worth, and then demanding for what what you want, and you just need to exert yourself and just perform well in an interview, and you can basically ask for whatever salary you want. And if the company needs you and sees your quality and sees your skills and your potential, they can offer you that salary. So investment banking is not the only industry that pay really, really well. And if you want to achieve work-life balance as well, these other roles are also good opportunities. I'm not saying that if you definitely do these roles, you're going to have a very good work-life balance, but in general, they tend to be better than the investment banking industry, from what I've heard in general. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope it was useful. Please let me know if you have any questions down below, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.